Hey, what's up everybody? This is Osterberg501 and today I want to go over all the new information we got for Borderlands 3 with the newest Borderlands show. I want to just go over this article that's pretty much a recap of all the stuff because this goes over all the main stuff I want to go over, which includes Mayhem 2, which we got a lot more information on, and we pretty much know what it is now, and that it does seem to be a big endgame system that I've kind of been wanting in this game that constantly has a reason to come back and keep playing, even after you've gotten like a full build. So we're going to start here, but if you missed the show, there's a lot of fresh info to catch up on regarding Borderlands 3. Huge plans for April. The episode debuted some big news, another free level cap increase which will go to coincide with the release of Guns, Love, and Tentacles patch, bringing your max vault touchers up to 57. So first we get the 3 level increase up to 53, then 4 more to 57, which are very weird level increases. I don't know why they just didn't go to 60 now or something, but this does let you unlock 2 capstone skills which will have a huge surge in power for endgame players and unlock all kinds of new build possibilities. What they're talking about there is the last skill in every skill tree, the capstone, that is incredibly strong for every character in every tree pretty much. And this is pretty much going to redo pretty much everybody's build unless you have a build that just uses those skill points to go down to another capstone. Most builds are going to be completely different. Besides the fact that we're going to have to farm all the new gear once we get to 57, there's most of the builds are going to be, or most of the best builds are going to be in some way changed because you're going to be using 2 capstones, which is going to make it so many new incredibly strong builds, and probably going to have the new best builds using 2 capstones. Later on, Anthony joined the show to kindly stand in for Max Babin, Gearbox Quebec's game director who worked on Guns, Love, and Tentacles, but couldn't make it to the Borderlands show due to real world events. Anthony explained on the early details, or expand on the early details of the spring 2020 roadmap. The endgame overhaul Borderlands 3 creative director Cremate Timmons first teased the Borderlands show episode 5 as well as Revenge of the Cartels, Borderlands 3 next big seasonal event, both which are slated for April. First up, Mayhem 2.0 turns Mayhem mode into its own tab in your active device, so you won't have to visit the pedestal in Sanctuary 3 every time you want to adjust it. There are now 10 Mayhem levels to conquer, as well as over 25 Mayhem modifiers that are classified by general difficulty for the ways they'll make you adopt a new playstyle. Your choose Mayhem level will also determine the kind of loot you get there. For instance, a Mayhem 4 weapon will have better stats on the same weapon dropping in Mayhem 2, so the gear you earn in one Mayhem level will prepare you for the next. So this is why I think this system is so massive. So basically what they're explaining and how this new Mayhem 2.0 is going to work is you're going to have 10 Mayhem levels instead of 4 like we have now. The 4 we have now in terms of the basically passive stat increases enemies get, so like you get to Mayhem 4 and it's like over 1000%, those they said are going to be pretty much reworked or more balanced out. So Mayhem 4 isn't going to have 1000% health, it's probably going to be something much lower, and every Mayhem level is going to have basically increasing difficulty, probably increase in passives, probably more modifiers, but every level of Mayhem is going to increase the power of all of the gear you get, even if you're level 57. So a 57 level weapon, same roll from Mayhem 1 is going to be probably quite a bit weaker than say one from Mayhem 4, going all the way up to Mayhem 10, and he did say the Mayhem 10 is going to get real, so most likely Mayhem 10 is going to be absolutely ridiculous, and most likely after like probably 4 to 5 you're going to actually need to farm up an entire build. This may not happen, but I'm assuming with how they're talking about the Mayhem system is most likely probably like Mayhem 4, Mayhem 5, you're probably going to need to actually farm up full builds to get to the next Mayhem, to farm the next Mayhem decently. For most people, most likely there's going to be some builds that can just jump up to higher Mayhems pretty easily, but getting up to those super high Mayhems, which are going to give the best stats in the game, you're probably going to need some really good builds with really good gear from some of the lower Mayhems, which is really good. This is a really good overhaul to the system. There's 25 Mayhem modifiers, and they were talking about that you can apply them. They said something about that, but I'm not sure if that's like ironed out yet, that you can apply the Mayhem modifiers or stuff like that, because most of them are more fun stuff. Like one of them, he said that all the enemies are just shrunk down. They're not tinks. All the enemies are legitimately just shrunk. There's the one that they already talked about where everything's head is huge, which will make it easier for headshots. So a lot of the stuff seems a lot more fun and actually gameplay changing. Not this enemy now shoots shoots 3 bullets instead of 1 to instantly kill you. Mayhem 2 is scheduled to launch alongside Revenge of the Cartels in April, a new 6-week seasonal event affecting the entire galaxy of Borderlands 3. Your kindly Saurian pal Maurice has gotten himself into trouble with a shady character named Joey Ultraviolet, and now Joey's coming to collect on some debts. You need to help Maurice wipe his slate clean by taking care of different thugs heading across the solar system, including areas added in campaign add-ons. You recognize them by their flashy neon attire. Once you've eliminated enough of these operatives, Maurice will use a handy portal device on Sanctuary 3 to whisk you away to the mansion, a swanky new map where Joey Ultraviolet and his goons heading out. Your encounters in the mansion will change depending on which of the 3 district gangs currently reigns over the cartel. You won't know what kind of enemies to expect until you're in the thick of battle, beyond the fact that you'll never fight the same faction twice in a row. Better yet, each gang has some unique loot drops and animated parts, so repeat runs are highly encouraged, and added suite of cartel-themed challenges will let you unlock Revenge of the Cartel's gear, including some 80s tactic Vault Hunter cosmetics, and of course you'll have the option to turn Revenge of the Cartels on and off as you choose during the duration of the event. Now, this actually seems like a massive upgrade to the first event that this is kind of mirroring, which is the Halloween event. So pretty much how this is going to happen is once you basically pick up the quest from Maurice, there will be just these neon cartel members everywhere that once you kill, you'll get basically drops from them, and once you get enough, you'll go to Maurice, he'll open a portal to the new map area, which is pretty much just a cartel mansion, and then you'll go through, kill enemies, and go fight the boss. Now, what's much different and better than the Halloween event is there are 4 different versions of this pretty much, and you'll never get the same one twice. So there's pretty much going to be 4 different bosses. Every time you go in, you'll get a new boss because there's factions of the cartel. Every 4 will have different enemies. They will all have different loot or different unique loot. So if you're fighting one, the next one is going to have a possibility of some unique loot, and then all of them are going to have new anointed drops. We're not sure if the anointed drops are going to be specific as well. I'm assuming the anointed drops are as well going to be unique to the separate factions of the cartel. So pretty much, if you want to even fight all the factions of the cartel once, you have to go through and farm up the required resources you need to open up the portal 4 different times and then clear it 4 different times to fight them all. And like I said, you never fight the same faction once, or twice, I mean. So once you go in, you fight one, the next one is going to be a different one. So you have to do all the rest of them, 3 extras to get back to the first one. So this is going to be very highly replayable. It's going to have unique gear and anointed parts. So you should expect to do a lot of farming. And also, since Mayhem 2 is coming out with this is more something I definitely want, because it's going to be a really good limited time event that has a lot of new items, a lot of new anointed parts, with a new Mayhem 2 system, which is going to want you to constantly keep going up to get better and better gear, and everyone's going to want to get to Mayhem 10 to get the best Revenge of the Cartel's items in that 6 weeks. So this is going to be a lot of farming, but it's going to be super fun because it's a lot of endgame stuff and a lot of stuff to farm that actually has a reason to farm, and by a reason I mean you're constantly farming better and better gear to get higher into higher difficulty into more difficult content. So that's all very good with me. And that's pretty much where the article ends. They also talked about some stuff that I want to talk about. So first off, they talked about, which is actually something I've done dozens of times, is adding a confirmation to when you click exit game, especially on PC. Well, I guess console probably has really bad loading times as well, but the exit button that doesn't have a confirmation to exit, so you accidentally click exit and it completely closes the game. And Borderlands 3 loads pretty slowly that first time, so you're kind of screwed when you accidentally do that. He pretty much said, yeah, we would add that in. World bosses. This is the only thing I had a problem with when they were talking about all the stuff, because most of the stuff is pretty cool, but they were talking about world or raid bosses. So pretty much they don't have plans as of right now to add singular raid bosses, unless he was just lying and there's one in the DLC. But he was saying that they pretty much don't have plans to add singular raid bosses, which in my mind is one of the pillars of Borderlands, since like Cromorax from Borderlands 1. Pretty much singular raid bosses that you can just go and fight without having to fight anything else is kind of a pillar of Borderlands. And there's still going to be one in the takedown, but the issue with the takedowns is that, or the first one at least, you have to fight tons of ads, go to the boss, and if you wipe in the boss, you have to fight tons of ads again. So I really hope they add a singular raid boss sometime soon, because most likely the community is going to say they want this, because because it's such a pillar of Borderlands 3. Most of the other stuff is just kind of stuff going over the new DLC and stuff, which we get so soon, and we'll see it all for ourselves pretty soon. So that's all I wanted to go over today. Subscribe if you want to see more Borderlands 3 content. Leave a like if you liked the video, and thanks for watching.